Hey, Jim Wolf here. So what do women really want? Because if men knew what women wanted, they would gladly give it to them, right? So what is it that women actually respond to? That's a much better question. And here's the golden question for you to ask yourself. Are you offering women genuine value from their perspective? Or are you trying to get something from them? That's the most important question that you can ask yourself. Are you like the crazy aunt who gives you an ugly sweater for Christmas that you don't actually want? Is that the value that you're offering? Or are you giving them something that they actually value deep in their subconscious mind? So the key for us as men in terms of our dating success is to know what women actually value in a man, not what you think they value or think they should value or wish they valued, or that they themselves think they value but don't actually respond to, and then offer that genuine value to them. And it's different than what males value in a female, and it's not what society says females value. So what do women actually value deep down in their subconscious minds, hard-coded by thousands of years of evolution, so that you can give it to them? Here's what women really want. The first thing is the most obvious: physical attractiveness. However, females don't view physical attractiveness the same way males do at all. For women, the way she evaluates you when she first sees you includes all sorts of factors that your mind would never think of or would value a lot less than she does. For example, your style of dressing and how accurately it represents who you really are and how comfortable you feel in it. Your body language, including your tone of voice and eye contact. Your health and fitness level. Your perceived level of resources without you trying to convince her of them. Your perceived social status, including how many other women she thinks already want you, which is known as PreSelection, and we'll talk about that in a minute. The context and the environment that you're in, and of course, your genetics as displayed by your face and body. Now that, along with youth and fertility, is most of the equation for us, but it's not for them. And now what's really great for you is that most of the things that are involved in initial attraction for a female are in your control. And you can work on all those things starting right now. However, that's not even close to the whole ballgame when it comes to a woman falling deeply in love with you and staying that way. And that's what we're going to talk about today. So initial attraction is the beginning of a very long story. Now, a woman just has to find you somewhat appealing for some reason when she first meets you for you to have a chance with her, assuming that she's single or her man's on the way out. And that's when the real love campaign, if you will, begins. So let's say a woman finds two versions of you equally physically attractive. In that case, what is it that causes her to fall in love and stay in love with version A of you and to be repelled by and leave version B of you? In this talk, we're going to cover the 4 things that make her fall deeply in love with you if she likes you even a little bit in the first place. And then we're going to cover the 4 specific things that keep her in love if you manage to get her there to begin with. So strap on your seatbelt and stay tuned, because these concepts will have a powerful effect on you, your life, and every woman you meet from now on. I'm excited about this talk because I love talking about this subject and I love the results that come from it even more. So let's start by talking about the first of the 4 things that cause a woman to fall deeply in love with you if she's initially interested in you. And that is high internal value. So what does high internal value mean exactly? It means that you have high self-worth and you show it through all of your actions. And what's the difference between high internal value and cockiness? Because a lot of guys, when they start to learn to value themselves, are very afraid that they're going to turn into cocky assholes or whatever you want to say. And that's an extremely common fear. And here's the difference: comparison. Cockiness is, I'm better than you, or you're not as cool as me. It's basically lowering other people's value to raise yours. Real, genuine self-worth is, I'm not better or worse than anyone else. I'm just awesome. So in your own reality, you are amazing. And it's comparison-free. You're not better or worse than other people. Your value is independent of their value, and you tend to value yourself highly. Now, the more you truly believe that you're not better or worse than anyone else, but you are awesome, and the more you show that through your dating behaviors, the more attractive you'll be. Why? Because women tend to agree with your true, deep, genuine self-appraisal. She will tend to think about you, what you think about you, as demonstrated by the way you behave, not by what you say. Your real internal value automatically increases when you act like you believe in it, and your behaviors automatically start changing when you actually have more self-worth, so it's a positive self-reinforcing cycle. That's why it doesn't really matter if you start with changing your beliefs or your inner game or whatever you want to call it, or you change your externals, your behavior, or whatever you want to call it. They self-reinforce each other, which is great. So what are some practical ways that you can demonstrate your high internal value via your behavior while you also develop your real mental game and real self-worth at the same time so you can be more attractive starting today? Here are 7 practical ways you can apply high internal value through your dating behavior starting right now. Number 1, stop trying to convince women to like you and start encouraging them to convince you to like them. Why? Because if you truly value yourself, you have specific things that you're looking for in a woman, and you want to see if she has them. And when you demonstrate that without coming off like you're trying to be superior to her, because you're not, it's wildly attractive. You're just trying to see if she's a good fit for you. And it's attractive because most guys, the ones she rejects, have no standards at all. They're not really looking for anything specific, and she feels special if she meets your specific standards that don't have anything to do with the way she looks. So anytime you catch yourself saying something or doing something just to get a woman's approval, notice it and then stop doing it immediately. And with a little awareness and practice, you can eliminate all of those behaviors one by one. Number 2, take every insult you ever get from a woman as a huge compliment. Because your self-worth is so high, it doesn't even enter your reality that someone, especially a woman, wouldn't also think that you're amazing. So the next time a woman gives you a hard time, just say, "Aw, you're such a sweetheart. Thanks so much." And give her a genuine winning smile. Truly take it as a compliment and react to the context of the situation instead of her actual words. Now I want you to try that and then let me know what happens when you respond that way if you're not too busy getting texts from attractive females. Number 3, when you're telling a woman a story that you think is awesome, and you get interrupted by the waiter or she starts talking, etc., do not continue telling your story unless she asks you to continue. Move the conversation forward and let it go. Your ability to do this demonstrates extreme self-confidence because you don't feel the need to finish your awesome story just to convince her to like you. That can be very powerful, and it's a small thing, so start doing that today. Number 4, when you're talking to a woman and she finishes a thought or a story, try pausing 3 seconds before you start speaking. That will usually encourage her to keep talking and to fill the silence. And when she shares a lot about herself with you, and she senses that you don't feel any pressure to keep the conversation going or feel the need to convince her how awesome you are, she becomes wildly attracted to you and starts to feel comfortable with you and attached at a deep level to you all at the same time, which brings us nicely to number 5, get her talking. Your job in dating is mostly to keep the conversation going and to get her to talk as much as possible. It should be about 60-40 or 80-20 in terms of how much she talks versus how much you talk. This sharing ratio demonstrates subconsciously who's trying to convince who to like them more. Now, she can only be attracted to men that let her convince them to like her and don't feel the need to convince her to like them, and that's you now. So feel comfortable sharing yourself with her, but keep it to a minimum in the early stages of dating and encourage her to share more about herself. Use the words, "Is there more about that?" and "That's interesting. Tell me more about X." a lot. And ask her open-ended questions that allow her to talk for a long time instead of those yes-no interview questions. For example, instead of saying, "Do you like peanut butter and jelly sandwiches?" an open-ended question would be like, "What are some of your favorite foods and why do you like them?" So ask her questions that allow her to talk for a long time. Number 6, ask her qualifying questions. You basically want to encourage her to explain why you should choose her versus every other girl out there without explicitly saying that and without being a dick about it. So find out what makes her unique. For example, what's your favorite thing about yourself? Or what's something you secretly want to brag about? I love that question. Or what's something awesome about you that I wouldn't know just by looking at you? Or you could say, I value authenticity. Would your friends say that you're an authentic person? Give me an example of a time you could have been fake, but you decided to be real instead, even though you were afraid, etc. And number 7, approve of her. Now, when she answers one of your qualifying questions, give her approval. That makes her feel good and makes her feel comfortable and still keeps you in the attractive position, because whoever's giving the approval is the more attractive one. So when she shares something personal, you never want to put her down. Even if you don't like what she shared or you disagree with it, don't be rude. You can always just say, oh, that's interesting, and move the conversation to a new topic. Now, if you disagree with her about something simple or silly, you can definitely disagree without being disagreeable. But what I'm saying is when she's sharing something about herself and her life with you, you definitely don't want to react negatively to that because it could really hurt her feelings. So at the very least, just say, oh, that's interesting, and move the conversation forward. This is not the time to disagree with her when she's sharing deeply personal things with you. Okay, so to recap, there are 4 things that cause a woman who is initially attracted to you to like you more or to fall in love with you. And the first one is high internal value. From now on, start acting like you're awesome without being better, because that is the truth. The truth is you are awesome and you're not better or worse than anyone else. That's the truth. And isn't it cool how all of a sudden, for some reason, you just know you're awesome and your value is never in question? How does that feel? It's such a huge relief. See, you are a badass, and it's time to start acting like that without diminishing others. And watch how your new level of comparison-free self-belief spreads to everyone around you. They can feel it, and they get to feel that way about themselves too. Especially the women around you who all think, there's just something about this guy. And, something's different about him today. Let me know how it goes. Now let's talk about the second thing a woman craves if she's interested in you initially, and that is internal strength. So what does internal strength mean exactly? Well, the quick, dirty, simple, easy to understand definition of internal strength is your ability to say no to her when necessary, stand up to her when necessary, disagree with her when necessary, and leave her when necessary. As unromantic as it sounds, if she knows at a deep subconscious level, without you telling her, that you have the ability to walk away from her and be just fine, she will like you much more. In fact, when a situation comes up that allows you to demonstrate your internal strength, and she feels it, that's usually when her strong interest in you is solidified, not when things are going perfectly with her. So what are some practical ways you can demonstrate your internal strength via your behavior so you can be more attractive right now? Here are 5 practical ways you can apply internal strength through your dating behavior starting today. Number 1, if you disagree with a woman, let her know, especially if you really like her. If she knows that you're able to disagree with her without being disagreeable and putting her down, so respect her view and opinion also, she will start to realize that you might actually be the kind of man who has the internal strength she can trust. Number 2, if you see her flirting with other guys, don't react. From now on, all other men in the world are like her brother to you. Good-looking women might even see if you'll be jealous right away by talking about other men and gauging your reaction. So for example, they might say, oh yeah, I used to date the star quarterback at USC, or yeah, my ex-boyfriend used to take me around in his Corvette. And make no mistake, these comments are not an accident, at least in her subconscious mind. She wants to see how you're going to react. And you demonstrate your internal strength by not reacting, by being non-reactive. So you're not jealous of other men ever, or at least you don't let her know you are. And remember that you are the cause of your emotions, not external events or the environment. And that is the rare internal strength that females crave. You are responsible for your emotions, and you are the cause of your emotions. You give positive emotions to yourself, and the external world doesn't affect you as much. Now, if you're at a party with her and you see her talking to other men, pretend it doesn't affect you and just see the way she handles it. See if she realizes what she's doing and if she comes back to you, or if she ignores you the entire night. That will give you a good indication of how she will behave when you're away later on if you continue to date her. Now, she should eventually come back to you, and if you leave with her and she realizes you didn't get jealous the whole time, she will be more attracted to you. And by far the best thing to do in that situation, if you can, is to talk to other women when she's talking to other men. Now, she'll probably ask you, "Hey, who are those girls you were talking to?" And you just smile and respond with something like, "Oh, just some quality backup," and then move the conversation forward, like it's no big deal. Now, if you're on a date with her, or she's already your girlfriend or your wife, and she kisses another guy in front of you, obviously don't call her again or break up with her or divorce her. But you don't have to get mad about it, just move on. Because the less you react to what she's doing, and the more you create your own emotional states, the more attractive you'll be and the more options you'll have. It's very rare and very valuable to women. And even if you, quote, lose her, it will make you more attractive to every woman you meet after that, and it will build your self-worth. Number 3, when you're in a relationship with a woman, say no to her at least once a month. Now, you don't have to say no to her all the time because that's not good either, but she has to know that you're willing and able to say no to her once in a while without you verbally saying that. So trade a little bit of short-term validation from her for long-term attraction and love because it's worth it. And number 4, if she's acting silly, let her know in a firm yet gentle way. Just stop her, look her in the eye and say, "Hey, you're being silly right now. Let me know when you're done," and smile, or something similar to that. Now, don't do this all the time, but if you're able to put her in check sometimes without being a total jerk about it, she'll appreciate it. She wants to know that you can be cool during her emotional storms. You are the flagpole and she's the flag. And number 5, if she tries to leave you, let her go. If she does something you don't like, let her know without getting upset and don't put up with it. If she does a deal breaker, leave her. Even if these strong behaviors end your relationship with her, again, they'll make you much more attractive to every woman you meet after that, and your self-worth will go up because you're showing yourself that you are valuable via your actions. Now, if something she does isn't a true deal breaker situation and you stand up to her without getting emotional about it, she will fall deeper in love with you. Again, passing these situational tests is what makes her fall in love with you, not your resume stats, not how good you look on paper, not how awesome your job is. So now you can start to see these situations as the golden opportunities that they are to make her like you more. Instead of negatives, they can be positives. And it's also an opportunity for your self-worth to go up. Okay, so to recap, there are 4 things that cause a woman who's initially interested in you to like you more or fall in love with you. The first one is high internal value, and the second one is internal strength. Now, if you find it scary or difficult to implement any of the behaviors we're talking about today, you're not alone. There's a reason why they're so powerful and attractive. If they were really easy to do, they would lose their value. However, the more you do these behaviors, the easier they become. So make them part of who you are, because you are a valuable, attractive man. So now let's talk about the third thing she wants if she's interested in you initially, and that is pre-selection. So what does pre-selection mean exactly? Well, the simplest definition of pre-selection is that if a woman thinks other women on her level are attracted to you, she will be attracted to you also. Think about that for a minute. Let's say you're sitting in a nice, comfy booth having some dinner at your favorite restaurant. Then, a stunning blonde walks in wearing a form-fitting dress. She looks incredible. Now, imagine that same woman walking in, only this time she has 5 sharp-looking dudes in gray suits around her when she comes in. Now let me ask you a question. Do you find the second version of her with the dudes all around her more attractive? Probably not. That's why pre-selection is so hard for guys to understand. It just doesn't have the same effect on us at all. So why does pre-selection affect her impression of you? Why would a woman find you more attractive if you walked into the same restaurant with 5 good-looking women around you than if you walked in alone. In other words, why does pre-selection work? Well, it's actually quite simple once you understand the inner workings of the female brain. See, a woman has to know at a deep subconscious level that you have the internal qualities she's seeking, while we're mostly looking for youth, fertility, health, and good genes, which we can detect much more quickly. And in order to find out if you have those qualities, she tests you. In other words, she watches how you react to various situations. And when you pass those tests, she feels attracted to you and then falls in love with you because you've shown her that you have the qualities she responds to. However, when she thinks that other women on her level already want you, she doesn't have to test you because you've already passed those same exact tests in the minds of those other equal females. See, she knows those other women wouldn't be with you or be attracted to you unless you have the qualities she's looking for, because female minds all require the same things from males. So it's a shortcut for her mind. She doesn't have to find out your value because other women have already done that work for her. Also, there's always an implied competition among females and they want to win. So it's a turn-off if she thinks you're after every woman, but it's an extreme turn-on if she thinks every woman is after you. And again, this is mostly subconscious, but it explains all kinds of behavior that might otherwise seem strange to you as a man. I don't know about you, but a woman surrounded by guys is not all that appealing to me. And this is why once you have a girlfriend or a wife, it's actually easier to get women. It's easier to get them all than to get one. In fact, a recent study found that men with wedding rings on are perceived as being more attractive than men who don't. Strange, I know, but only because you're a man. So what are some practical ways that you can use pre-selection that will make you more attractive immediately? Well, instead of giving you a few specific ways to apply pre-selection, I'm going to give you a golden question that you can ask anytime to decide what you should do in any situation with a woman that will make sure pre-selection is working for you. This question is one of the biggest keys to your dating success, so here it is. If you genuinely liked her and you also had 8 other women on her level that you like just as much as her texting you and asking you out, what would you do? Again, if you really liked her and you also had 8 other women on her level that you really liked texting you and asking you out, what would you do? Would you relax a little bit more? Would you take your time and go a little bit slower? Would you wait a little while longer before you were sure she's a good fit for you? Would you have higher standards and truly try to find out if she meets them? Would you be so worried about whether or not she texts you back or if she likes you, etc.? Would you take more calculated risks because you know you have more options? The answer to the golden question always shows you the optimal thing to do when it comes to dating. And when you act like you have other good options without being a dick or being direct about it, don't tell her about other women. Act like you have other options indirectly so she feels it deep down without bringing her conscious attention to it. If you do that, she will feel it and it will work for you. Now, of course, the best possible thing to do is to cultivate a lifestyle that you love so that not only do you really have lots of good options, you also truly love your life, whether she wants to be a part of it or not. And that feels like pre-selection to her subconscious mind also. And as a bonus, if you're already in a relationship and you feel her interest in you starting to slip, one way to get it back up to where it should be is to subtly reintroduce some pre-selection back into your relationship. For example, you could casually mention, hey, by the way, Jenny from the office asked me to have coffee with her at work today. Not sure what that was about. So strange, etc. And then move on as if it was a random meaningless comment. Okay, so to recap, there are 4 things that cause a woman who's initially attracted to you to like you more or fall in love with you. The first one is high internal value, the second one is internal strength, and the third one is pre-selection. I want you to ask yourself the golden question and the follow-up questions right after that over and over again as soon as you're done listening to this talk. Let them roll around in your mind and let me know what cool insights you get into how they explain your successes and failures in the past with women. Then start using pre-selection to your advantage with every woman you meet from now on. And now let's talk about your secret weapon when it comes to dating. This quality will allow you to compete with men who are wealthier than you, who are better looking than you, who have cooler personalities than you, and this is all real, it's not hype. Which is good because honestly, there will always be guys who are better than you in some way or another, no matter how amazing you are. And that doesn't really matter when you demonstrate the 4 attractive qualities we're talking about here today, especially this one. This one is extremely powerful, it's effective, and it's really rare, mostly because it goes against everything you've been taught about dating and most of your own instincts. And also, a lot of guys, once they learn this, still apply it incorrectly. And that's why it's such a great equalizer. It's simple and any man can apply it, but actually applying it correctly is extremely difficult, especially if you really like her. So here is number 4 of the 4 things she craves if she's interested in you initially. Challenge. So what does challenge mean exactly? Well, let's start with what it doesn't mean this time. Being a challenge does not mean that you're acting aloof and pretending you don't want her. It simply means that she must continue to earn your attention and that you're not easy. See, women love to chase a guy that they're actually attracted to, and being a challenge allows her to chase you. It gives her the space she needs to chase you and to feel more attracted to you. And if you're constantly texting her 10,000 times a day right after you meet her, when does she ever have time to think about you, to wonder about you, to wonder whether you like her or not, or to chase you? Challenge simply means that you give her the gift of earning your attention so that when she gets it, it feels so much better to her. And why would you cheapen your attention when the truth is that it is valuable? And if you're resisting that, maybe there's an internal belief to work on a little bit here for some of us. So what are some practical ways that you can demonstrate challenge via your behavior so you can be more attractive immediately? Well, here are 3 practical ways you can be more of a challenge through your dating behavior starting today. Number 1, back off on the compliments. Limit yourself to 1 genuine compliment each time you meet up with her. And instead of just complimenting her, add a playful challenge to them to make them even better. Now, I'm sure you've heard the term push-pull by now, and what that means basically is that only pulling, or complimenting her, giving her approval, etc., and only pushing, putting her down, pretending you don't want her, or challenging her, are both unattractive behaviors on their own. The key is to compliment her and challenge her at the same time, which is push-pull, and to do it playfully so she can accept her attraction for you with a smile on her face. So, you're so awesome. It's really too bad I'm not attracted to you at all, with a playful smile, is a million times better than either, you're so awesome, or I'm not attracted to you at all. Again, you're so awesome. It's really too bad I'm not attracted to you at all, with a playful smile, is so much better than, you're so awesome, or I'm not attracted to you at all. Do you see the difference there? So, limit the compliments in the early stages of dating, and if you want to give her some approval, just follow it up with a fun, playful, teasing comment, and then watch how easy it is for you to feel her attraction for you now. Number 2, don't do any big favors for her in the beginning stages of dating. If you just met a woman and you're not her official boyfriend yet, do not wax her car, help her move, mow her lawn, fix things around her house, take soup to her grandma, etc. Now, once you're her official boyfriend and you've been with her for 2 to 3 months, go ahead and help her move across town if you want. For now, she has friends who can help her with that. Also, when she asks you for little favors, you can do them, but always get something first. So if you're at a bar with her and she asks you to hold her purse while she goes to the restroom, ask her to grab you a drink on her way back. If she asks you to pass her a napkin, make sure she says, please. Don't do a small favor for her unless she at least says please. And if she says please when she first asks you, say, of course, but only because you said please. It sounds unromantic, but when you're not so easy, she values you more. And listen, I didn't make up how any of this works. It's not my fault that doing little things for her that seem like no big deal to you might gain some short-term approval from her, but also cause her to lose attraction for you. It's not my fault that being a little less easy will make her more attracted to you and make her value you more. So remember, attraction is similar to frustration in the beginning stages of dating. Attraction is similar to frustration in the beginning stages of dating. And you have to ask yourself, do you want to be her handyman while another guy dates her and sleeps with her? Or do you want to be her man? And that's up to you. And number 3, after you have an amazing date with a woman, do not immediately ask her out again. Ask her when you can see her again, or start texting her back and forth all night or the next day. Now, I know it's hard when you really connect with an awesome woman and we don't want to play games, but you have to decide if you want her to be more attracted to you and or fall in love with you or not. If you want to give her the gift of increasing attraction and the feelings of deep love for you, then you must be a little more mysterious and give her a little more space in the early stages of dating. Plus, you really want to get to know her in person. It's much better for both of you than trying to build your relationship over technology. So, after your amazing date with her, you can send her one short text if you want, like, "Thanks for the fun time tonight, Amber," with a smiley face. Or, of course, you can put her funny nickname that you gave her in there instead of her name. But yeah, just a simple one like, "Thanks for the fun time tonight, Amber," smiley face. And that's it. And then if she texts you back, do not respond unless you have to. For example, she might say, "You too, good night," smiley face. And in that case, do not say good night back. There's no reason to respond to that text. So let her text to you be the last one in that conversation. And definitely do not ask her to hang out again the next day. Then keep your texting with her to a minimum over the next several days. Now you can text her back and forth a little bit if she texts you first, but keep it fun, keep it light, keep it playful, and don't ask her to meet up again yet. And again, try to let her text to you be the last text of each conversation if you can. You don't have to be too hardcore about this, but it's always better if you can let her be the last one to text you. Give her some time and space to wonder about you, to think about you, and to let her feelings for you get stronger. Then, after a few days have gone by, ask her to meet up again on a specific day, at a specific time, and for a specific activity. Do not ask her when she's available, when you can see her again, or tell her you want to see her again on your dates. If she likes you and she can't make or doesn't like the date that you suggest, she'll come up with a different day or activity that works for her. But don't put the burden of planning your next meetup on her at all. Simply wait a little while and then ask her out again in a very direct way. Plan everything and ask her to join you. Now, if she comes up with a better idea, go with it. But always assume that you're going to have to plan everything. And if she asks you to meet up, which is exactly what we want, always accept her invitation unless she's asking you to meet up today. You're busy if she asks you to meet up later tonight. And if she asks you to hang out on the same day, just ask her to hang out at a different specific time and date. For example, "You know what? I already have plans tonight, but I'd love to meet up with you tomorrow night at 7. Does that work for you?" Then just repeat this process of waiting a little while and then asking her out specifically again after each date until she asks you to be her boyfriend or something like, "Where is this relationship headed?" So all you do is continue to ask her out again until she brings up the idea of being in a relationship, until she asks, "Hey, where is this relationship headed?" And if she likes you at all, she's single, she has a good attitude, and she's relatively psychologically healthy, this will definitely make her like you more and eventually fall in love with you. And we want her to chase you. And if she's texting you first, and if she's texting you and asking you out, or hinting at meeting up with you again, she's chasing you. So give her the opportunity to chase you. That's what we want. Don't take it away from her by texting her constantly and asking her out again immediately like every other guy who thinks he might lose her if he doesn't bombard her with his overwhelming interest in her. Fight the urge to go super fast with her and go slowly instead to encourage her to chase you. Because when she's chasing you, she becomes more attracted to you and eventually falls in love with you. And if she's chasing you, asking you out, etc., how can she reject you or leave you at the same time? She can't, right? If she's chasing you, she can't be leaving you at the same time. It's impossible. And that's the kind of principle that can truly change your life. So to recap, there are 4 things that cause a woman who's initially interested in you to like you more and fall in love with you. The first one is high internal value. The second one is internal strength. The third one is pre-selection. And the fourth one is challenge. Now, if she likes you to begin with, her interest in you will increase in direct proportion to how often your behavior demonstrates those 4 qualities. Every time your behavior demonstrates the 4 attractive male qualities, her interest in you goes up. And every time your behavior shows her you don't have those qualities, her interest in you goes down. It's really that simple, but again, it's not necessarily easy. So if your behavior demonstrates the 4 attractive male qualities most of the time, her interest in you is going to rise over time until she's what we call in love with you, which just means her real, genuine interest in you is as strong as possible. Now, the better looking she is, the more options she's going to have, and the less times you can behave incorrectly and still win her attraction and love. That being said, nobody does this perfectly 100% of the time. So start where you are right now and shoot for 90%, and you'll get everything you want when it comes to women. And rare is the man who demonstrates these qualities at any level, much less most of the time. So now you're one of them, and women will love you for it. And once again, if you find it scary or difficult to implement these behaviors, you're not alone. If they were easy to do, they would lose their value. And again, the more you practice these behaviors, the easier they become. So make them part of who you are, because once again, you are a valuable, attractive man. And remember this, it usually takes about 2 to 3 months or 6 to 9 dates for her to feel what we call love or very strong, lasting interest for you, even if she likes you a lot to start out with. That's why you have to go slowly to succeed with women. They fall in love much slower than you. The way you feel about her after your first interaction with her or your first date with her is how she might feel about you after maybe 3 to 6 dates, and that's assuming that you're awesome. So you have to let her catch up. Now, if you're really ambitious, exit this talk right now and grab your copy of Attract and Keep Her to learn a lot more about all 4 of the attractive male qualities and exactly how to apply them from the first moment you meet a woman until you're with her forever or you decide that she's not right for you. And if you follow everything in the book step by step, you will never get broken up with or divorced by a woman ever again. So again, if you're really ambitious, just go grab your copy of Attract and Keep Her right now and take control of your dating life. So now that she's in love with you, what do you do now to make sure she stays that way? So let's say you did everything right during the first 3 months and she's completely head over heels in love with you and you're her official boyfriend. And by the way, well done. It's rare that a woman gets to feel such feelings because most guys take a bullet train straight to rejection land instead of giving her the amazing gift of falling truly in love. And by the way, did you know that most married women are not in love with their husbands? So how do you make sure she stays in love with you, whether you want to stay with her for a year or 99 years? There are 4 things that keep her interested in you extremely high if you get it there in the first place, and they are not the same 4 things that cause her to fall in love. And that's because at this point you've already won, quote unquote. And so has she, by the way, because we're all about creating win-wins here. So she already recognizes your value and she's earned your attention by treating you well. So now we must reward her for her high interest to keep it at a high level instead of continuing to try to raise it. So it's time to shift into relationship maintenance mode. And this is where most guys fail if they even manage to get her there in the first place, because they think that once they have a girlfriend or wife, their work is done. For example, so many people, and this is women too, get into great shape for their wedding night and their honeymoon. They get a tan, they whiten their teeth, and they treat each other really well, only to relax and start taking each other for granted right after that. Well, not you, my friend, because you're way too smart for that. You take a long-term view at all times because you are a winner. You understand that dating a woman and having a long-term relationship takes a little bit of work to maintain forever, and that it's worth it if you want to have a sweet, adoring girlfriend or wife instead of an annoying, nagging shrew. And if you want to avoid a nasty breakup or divorce, and maybe even the possibility of some other guy raising your children. Now, the great news is that once you learn exactly what to do, it's not necessarily hard. You just have to take action and do it. And now that you know how to make a woman who likes you a little bit more attracted to you and how to make her fall in love, let's cover the 4 things that make her stay in love with you once you get her there. And if you know all 8 of these things and master them via your behavior, you will gain total control over your dating life, and a woman will never leave you unless you decide to end things with her. And if you're a nice guy, you'll probably like this part of the talk even more, because chances are you're better at the next 4 things we'll talk about, and all you have to do is use the 4 attractive male qualities to get her to this point first. So now let's talk about the 4 specific things that keep a woman in love once you get her there, so you never have to worry about a woman wanting to leave you. So the first thing that keeps her interest in you sky high is positive attention. Now, this is where most men fail miserably once they get into a relationship. Not you. In order to keep her in love, you have to keep dating her and keep giving her positive attention. So what does positive attention mean exactly? Well, positive attention means actively paying attention to your girlfriend or wife in a positive way. And the word paying is very deliberate, because the cost of her continued high interest in you is paying her with your positive attention. When it comes to a long-term relationship with a woman, positive attention means the following. Continue to date her. Now, this is the most important thing you can do once she's in love with you. Most guys stop taking out their girlfriends or wives at some point and then wonder why she's eventually unhappy, quote, all of a sudden. And she's not unhappy all of a sudden. It takes a lot of time. So no matter how busy you are and how many kids you have, etc., continue planning dates with your girlfriend or wife as long as you're with her. Now, the goal is to take her out once a week, but never go more than a month without going on a fun date where you don't talk about all the negatives and serious things in your life, like your in-law problems, your credit card debt, your bills, etc. Now, these dates don't have to be complicated or expensive. You can just take her on a quick hike or grab some ice cream or some coffee. Just make sure that you have fun with her like you did in the beginning stages of dating. Keep asking her out like you did in the beginning of your relationship, once a week to once a month, as long as you're together. Plan everything yourself just like you used to, and choose a specific day, time, and activity. And again, if she has a better idea, go with it. But otherwise, you are the logistical coordinator, so it's your job to lead this part of your relationship. Now, a wise man once told me, if you don't date your girlfriend or your wife, some other guy might take her out. And again, this is absolutely the most important thing after respecting her in a general sense that keeps her in love with you. So just do it. Make it the same priority level as a work meeting, a job interview, etc., because it is if you want her to stay in love with you. And if you don't want to go out with her, it's probably time to reflect on whether or not you want to continue a relationship with someone you don't even want to date once a week. Invest in her feelings for you a little bit once a week and reap the returns forever. Next, when she wants to show you something or tell you something, give her your full attention for a second. You can go back to watching the game or your favorite show as soon as you pay her a few seconds of positive attention. Oh, those new shoes are amazing, honey. Thanks for showing me. Or if she tells you something, oh, that's so interesting. I had no idea. So whenever she asks for your attention through her actions, give it to her. When you're next to her on a plane and she points at something out the window for you to look at, just look at it real quick. And once you pay attention to her for a few seconds, she'll usually leave you in peace in a happier mood. Then you can get back to what you're doing. Again, it's simple but not necessarily easy, but make it a habit to pay her a few seconds of positive attention whenever she asks for it. If she wants to talk about something serious and you're really busy, just ask her if you can talk at a specific time. Hey, I really want to hear what you have to say, and I also want to finish watching this Game of Thrones episode. Can we sit down and talk about this in 30 minutes? Now, if you chose a woman with a good attitude, she'll be happy to go along with that most of the time. Next, when she does something you like, actively let her know. It's so easy to notice negative things, especially after being with someone for a long time. So we have to make it a new habit to notice and point out the positives. The time to tease her and challenge her is before she's in love with you, and a little bit forever to keep it spicy. Now that she's in love with you, complimenting her behaviors is a really good thing to do as often as you can. For example, "Hey, I really appreciate that you put $100 into our joint account today. You know, thanks so much for picking up the kids. I appreciate it. I love watching you read to the kids at night. You're so sexy when you're all sweaty from working out," etc. Also, continue saying please, thank you, good morning, and good night. All of these little behaviors have been shown to have a huge effect on her feelings for you over time. And remember, the presence of positive behaviors is more important than the absence of negatives. The presence of positive behaviors is more important than the absence of negatives. So, actively create a positive relationship with her by doing all of these little things, and she won't even think about ever wanting to leave you, assuming that you chose a good one and got her to the point where she's in love with you in the first place. The key is to treat her like you did when you first started dating her as much and as long as possible. If you wouldn't do it on a first date, don't do it now. Don't relax and start to take her for granted. So once she's in love with you completely, make sure you give her positive attention. If you do, you're 1/4 of the way home when it comes to maintaining her high interest in you as long as you want. And now let's talk about the second thing that keeps her interested in you sky high. Respect. There's a reason respect is the #1 value of the mafia. They understand how important this principle is when it comes to human relationships and group unity. What the gangsters don't know is that respect applies to a woman staying in love with you even more than that. Again, if you manage to get her there in the first place. So what does respect mean exactly? Well, you know what respect means already, so I won't go too deep into defining it for you. What I will do is give you several examples of how respect applies specifically to your relationship with a woman. So when it comes to a long-term relationship with a woman, respect means never scream or yell at her. And I shouldn't have to mention never being physical or hitting her here, but that's an obvious one also. If you would do that, definitely go get help with your underlying issues and stay out of a relationship until you get a handle on them. Don't check out other women when you're with her, and don't talk about other women with her either. Imagine what it would be like if she kissed another guy in front of you. That's what it feels like to her if she's truly in love with you. So don't do it to her. She'll notice and appreciate it because in the back of her mind, she knows you'll always find other women attractive and that you're showing her respect, and also internal strength, by the way. So don't check out other women when you're out with her. When she has what you think is a silly idea, don't make fun of her or her idea. Support her instead. Hey, yeah, we can definitely work on that together. She should feel safe expressing herself with you, even if you don't think her ideas are all that amazing. Now, you don't have to be fake. Just respect her and don't be rude. Otherwise, date someone else. Listen to her without trying to solve her problem. Just let her talk it out. Then say, "Is there more about that?" and let her keep talking. Now, this is a generality, but women generally like to work things out through the process of talking. So let her solve her own problem while you just provide a space for her to work it out by talking about it. After she's completely finished, say something like, "You know what, you're such an intelligent woman, I'm sure you'll figure it out." Do not offer her advice unless she asks you for it specifically. Then, by all means, feel free to give her advice. Now, you can always say something like, "I'm confident you'll figure this out, and is there any way I can help you?" when she's done talking. So you can ask her if there's some way that you can help. Otherwise, treat her like a capable adult who can handle her own problems. She doesn't need a savior or a white knight. And if she's not a capable adult who can handle her own problems, consider dating someone else. So if you listen to her without trying to solve her problem, without judging her, and without giving her advice, you have no idea how rare and attractive you will be to her. So give it a try. And if you can't listen to her for a couple of minutes a day, you probably shouldn't be with her. Now, of course, there are many more things you can do to show her respect, and I'm sure you can come up with a few more yourself. On the other hand, when you disrespect her, it erodes her interest in you over time. So just make sure you show her respect. So once she's in love with you completely, make sure you give her positive attention and respect her. And if you do that, you're halfway home when it comes to maintaining her high interest in you as long as you want. Now, if you implement just 25% of what we've already covered, you'll be one of the most attractive men in your city. But why stop there? Let's keep going to make sure you have total control over your dating life, and so you never have to worry about a woman breaking up with you or giving a divorce attorney a huge chunk of your hard-earned money. So here's the third thing that keeps her interest in you high. Positive humor. So what does positive humor mean exactly when it comes to maintaining a woman's love for you? Well, hard times are guaranteed in life, and a positive, playful attitude expressed via good humor makes life's difficulties more tolerable. It's a valuable gift you can give her, and it provides a protective buffer to your relationship. So if you're often playful and you use humor positively because you don't take yourself or your life too seriously, humor makes your relationship better. However, studies also show that negative humor use makes relationships worse. If you use humor as a way to avoid dealing with things or to subtly put yourself or other people down, it's a negative. So when it comes to a long-term relationship with a woman, positive humor means cut out the self-deprecating humor. Don't put yourself down. Don't use humor to avoid important issues. It's great to playfully tease her, but cut out humor that truly puts her down or subtly tries to control her. Don't make jokes that put other people down either. Don't take yourself or your life too seriously. Don't take things personally. Stay playful and positive as much as you can. Entertain yourself and share it with her. Laugh at her silly jokes. Make her laugh as often as possible, just not at your expense. Tease her lightly, but never put her down. And maintain a light, playful, fun environment with her as much as possible. So once she's in love with you completely, make sure you give her positive attention, respect, and positive humor. If you do, you're 3/4 of the way home when it comes to maintaining her high interest in you as long as you want. And now let's talk about the fourth and final thing that keeps her interest in you sky high if you manage to get it there in the first place. And that is teamwork. Did you know that the first antonym on dictionary.com for teamwork is divorce? Quite the accurate statement, dictionary.com. So what does teamwork mean exactly when it comes to maintaining a woman's love for you? Well, essentially, teamwork means that you should date a woman who loves to do things for you and also not take advantage of her. That's the best possible situation for you if you want to stay with a woman long term. Now, you can choose to be with a woman who never thinks about doing anything for you if you want. And we're not trying to be with someone who takes care of us because we already have a mom and we take care of ourselves, and we're not trying to get a free lunch here. But it's much better for you over the long term if your woman enjoys doing things for you versus never thinking about it. So here's where teamwork comes into play with that. If you manage to choose a woman who has a naturally giving personality, if you don't reciprocate a little bit and appreciate her, she will eventually resent you, and that will diminish her feelings for you. So find a giving woman and then appreciate her giving attitude and be fair with her according to your own internal sense of fairness. In other words, don't take advantage of her. So when it comes to a long-term relationship with a woman, teamwork means give her encouragement, give her moral support, and give her positive reinforcement. Make her look good when you're in public with her. Show her that you're on her side. Talk to her about your big decisions before you make them. And talk with her first about your big decisions instead of your family and friends, when they'll have an impact on her or your relationship. Stay with her if she's in the hospital. Accept her imperfections and her different worldview. Work out your differences with her calmly. Now, this is a big one. Work out how you will share responsibilities in a way that works for both of you. Now, if you've been with her for a long time and you live together, it's a really good idea to sit down with her and map out really clearly what responsibilities each of you will take on around the house and make sure both of you feel like it's fair. I know it sounds really simple and you probably don't want to do that, but just having that little sit down with her and saying this is exactly what we expect of each other in our home can have a huge positive effect on your relationship. And if the arrangement is not working for you after a month or two, definitely sit down with her again and say, hey, this isn't working. How can we make it work? So just sit down with her and make it very clear how you're going to share the responsibilities around the house. Do the dishes, take out the trash, etc., without her having to ask you. Be equitable with her. For example, if she cooks, put the dishes away. Don't take advantage of her, because if you do, she'll end up resenting you. Listen to her for a few minutes every day. Give her that time. Again, if she has a problem, don't necessarily try to fix it for her, but support her in fixing it. Support her ideas. Offer to help her implement them, even if you think they're silly. Give her support, encouragement, solidarity, and faith. Be her equal partner in all things. Do not be her psychotherapist, her teacher, her coach, her father, or her son. Be her lover and teammate. Your ideal attitude is, I believe in you, and I'm here to support you 100%. So treat her as your equal teammate. So once she's in love with you completely, make sure you give her positive attention, respect, positive humor, and teamwork. And if you do, she'll stay in love with you as long as you want, assuming you got her there to begin with and she's relatively psychologically stable. Now, does it take a little bit of work to maintain her positive feelings forever? Yes. Can it be done? Yes. Is it worth it? Well, that's up to you. And of course, there are many other things you can do to make your relationship better. However, how much she likes or loves you is the #1 factor in how strong your relationship is. So it's extremely important to start here with the 8 principles that we covered today. And if her interest in you slips below the she's completely in love with you line, you'll have to go back to demonstrating the 4 attractive male qualities, and then, when her interest in you is back where it belongs, start the relationship maintenance program again. And remember that it's far better and easier to just do the things that will maintain her interest in you than to try to keep building it up again and again. Now, I really hope you enjoyed this talk and got some useful value out of it. Let me know how it goes. And again, the last thing I want you to remember in terms of creating a good relationship after she's in love with you is that the presence of positive behaviors is more important than the absence of negatives. So make sure you're actively creating something positive with her, and you're going to be just fine. And again, if you never want to worry about a woman breaking up with you or divorcing you, and you want to make absolutely sure that you know exactly what to do from the first moment you meet a woman until you've been with her for 99 years or you decide she's not right for you, go grab your copy of Attract and Keep Her right now. I'm Jim Wolf, and I'll talk to you later. Cheers.